So we're going to talk through some of his play, kind of have fun with it. Like I said, I don't know, this video might get taken down. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I am a supporter of his, and hopefully he's cool with that, and hopefully YouTube is cool with that, with me showing some of his play and talking about it. It's really hard to get a precise spot for where he is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 times speed, so we can kind of see it, and it was just fascinating. So what we'll do is we'll jump around and we'll see like when he jumped up and down in chips. This is the bracelet event, and his chip stack is consistent here. So he's got a King 8 suited. Now, I will tell you this. Him raising King 8 suited in under the gun +2 is, according to poker, considered a no-no. Him getting re-raised and calling the 3-bet is considered a no-no. He won a bracelet, so I'm not saying that his play is wrong there, but this is fascinating to watch. I mean, this is the type of stuff that like Phil Hellmuth would certainly have a difficult time with, but I love it because he makes it hard to play against him in so many different ways. I do believe in this hand, we saw the result, he had less chips in the next hand. He's got second pair, but boy, is this a scary board. Yeah, he takes a stab at this and probably gets called or shipped on. He ends up making the fold here, if I understood what I saw correctly. He's just like, I can't possibly be good. He tried to take a stab at the pot. You know what? Doesn't matter. He ended up winning. Said, right now I live in Georgia, so the only thing can do is email you. Totally fine. I was trying to ask the question of where you live because I was curious as an investor if you cared geographically where the room opened up. For me, I would only do it if it was in the United States, but I was thinking about a location that was outside of Florida, even though this is where I live. But yeah, we can discuss all that for what you're interested in and thinking about too. But boy, it's interesting. I didn't realize that Rampage was playing 2 tournaments at once for a little bit there. But yeah, email is totally fine. It's a good way to start any type of conversation like that for sure. Let's see. So he's got a King 4 offsuit. I imagine he's going to fold to the raise, but I can't tell for sure. Yep, he folds to the raise. That is what most pros would consider to be the correct play. Here he has Queen 4 off on the button. I'm going to jump ahead here and see if his chip stack does anything. That's the other table, so there's nothing too significant there. Let's see. So what do we got here? It looks like he's going to end up with ace queen in this one. And he's first in. He raised to 2400. He got a call. He's got 2 hands going at the same time while he's streaming. He ships all in with 5s. I love it. He gets raised and he's like, I got a pair, so I'm going to ship all in here. Looks like he ended up getting the raiser to fold. Now, I'm not saying that's a play that I would make. I don't necessarily hate it either, but it might be slightly low EV. Because look, when you get raised, it's reasonable to get called there. But in this particular pot, let's see, he doesn't have a whole lot going on. He kind of like takes a bet and then leaves it. I imagine that he can see both of these screens at the same time pretty easily. Did he get 5s again in the other table? That's sort of funny. Did he ship again with 5s at the other table? So it goes raise and he ships again with 5s. Interesting. So we know that he ends up winning here. It seems like interesting. I don't know exactly what happened. That went pretty quickly. All right, Joseph, it looks like you want me to email you. That works. Or maybe you're just letting me know that for when you reach out. Anybody that's watching right now, they could be watching something very special where this could be something that speeds up me opening a poker room. That would be a fun thing. So I got your email now, and I'm happy to reach out to you as well. Let me see. I'm just going to copy this and save it somewhere so that it's not outside the chat later. Oh, I guess I can't do it on this window. I was gonna open that window and just type it in there, but then everybody could see my business. So instead, we brought back the replay of Rampage. It would be fun to cover his live stream live, like do a live stream on top of his live stream. Maybe I could do something like that tonight if I'm feeling like having fun with it. That would be interesting. He had, for this World Series event, the bracelet event, as he got deep toward it, especially the final table, he had like 4,000 people watching. Really, really interesting stuff. So let's see. I'm just going to email myself your email address. There we go. I'm new to the investing, so I need to know your vision and what you and your partner want, short-term and long-term goals. Absolutely. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I've never gotten investment for anything related to poker before, but I have raised about $630,000 for a tech startup. And the software's still there, and I absolutely love that product, but I need to build up more money in my life to continue that whole thing. So I say that so that you know that I am very comfortable putting information together the way that you would want, and we can certainly make that happen. But I also find with people that are new to investing, they don't really know what to expect or what to ask sometimes. So I do want to offer to you. I am happy to kind of do a phone call and talk through some of that stuff so that you could be comfortable with investing in general. I mean, yeah, it all could work, and we can make it very comfortable and simple. Let's see, what is Rampage doing here? So I haven't been paying super close attention. It looks like the pocket fives got through twice in a row in the other hand. And he's got 106,000 here with a 3-8 that he's almost not going to play. Oh, he lost 7 or so or something. What did he lose? I don't know. Not enough for me to worry about it. I'm trying to find jumps in his chip stack that are significant so we can see. So he's got pocket sevens. This is in the other tournament, not the bracelet tournament. Just as said thanks. Absolutely. So just so that we know here, I was taught by a poker pro when it comes to shipping all in, if it's pre-flop and you have a hand that you could gain 20%-ish to your stack, shipping is a good move there. So right here you can see he's starting with 42,000, and if he wins, the total pot after his ship, including the blinds and the antes, comes to 50,000. So that's about 8,000 more. That does come to about 20%. So there's a really strong argument, especially from middle position, that this ship is a really good play in this poker tournament. Again, this isn't the bracelet one. This is the other event that he keeps switching back to. I don't know how long he makes it in this tournament. I just know that he wins the bracelet in the other one, but this is a pretty good play by quote-unquote the book. Now, it does depend on the players you're up against, but yeah, he just gained a nice little 20% to his stack. Joseph said, thanks, we'll talk more poker commentary. Okay. John says, this is an interesting video, Mark. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Let's see. So now, in this secondary event, he's got ace-jack again. And here we are. We're back to the main one. All right, so he still has that 94,000. I'm slowly going forward, and he gained a little bit. Oh, pocket tens. All right, well, this is probably the hand that he gained a little bit. So the blinds are 1,000, 2,000 here. This is the bracelet event now that he does end up winning. And let's see, folds around to him in the cutoff, and he is, what does he do here? He raises to 4,000, doubles the blinds, and he gets re-raised to 13,000. And he's doing his stretch. Oh, and then he ships all in and he just goes for it. Now, he does have this player covered, so it would not knock him out of the tournament. He would still have about 20 big blinds left. Don't mind that play at all. He added 20% to his stack. Maybe a little bit less than that, but no, a little bit Yeah, a little bit less than that, but certainly a justifiable play with tens. You guys can't see it, but I'm gonna, I don't know how to show this actually. He's getting people that are giving him super chat money when he gets down. It's almost like they've created a luck thing where he's streaming and they want him to win, so they're like sending him super chats for money, and they like feel like it's working. I think that's kind of cool. Someone named Wes sent him $20 with the message, "How about we quadruple your best super chat then? Now take the good vibes and kill this finale." Here, let me show that actually so you guys can see it. It's down here. Oh, I'm gonna back that up a tiny bit. Wait, where is it? We're not able to see it. I missed the spot. Darn. Well, anyway, you get the idea. I mean, I read it word for word, right? Let me adjust this again so that we're back to showing the correct part of this. What was that? Oh, I see. Window capture. There we go. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. So let's see here. He's still at 150,000 and or 115,000, and he's just down to 110, 109. It's on break. 115. I'm not saying those hands aren't interesting, but it's really hard to precision click here. So he's the big blind here. Let's see what's happening. Let me see. This is two hands in front. He folds here. The big blind. He's in for 2,400. That's the big blind. There's a limper. Limping in tournament in a bracelet event, almost never a good idea. Although once that first player limps, it does change things a lot. So this pot is going three ways, and he flops second pair. He didn't have to put anything in pre-flop, and he's like, you know what? Based on their limping range, this is probably pretty good. So he's taking a stab at it for 3,500. He gets the first guy to fold, and he ends up getting called. But I mean, he's probably thinking he's still good in this spot. Checking is a good way for some pot control and to take a little pressure off here. He might check hoping for a bluff at a card that's kind of scary. I imagine he's going to have to call here. I don't know what he did. I didn't watch this before. I mean, it looks like a bet that's trying not to get called to me. He ends up folding. I'll give him credit for knowing what's up. We never find out what they had. I feel like that might have been a call. Personally, just based on the action of that hand. The player limped in late position. They didn't in any way seem like they were necessarily strong, just making one call on the flop and then trying to take it down. He had pretty good value there. I mean, in order to make that call, yeah, to me that seemed like it might have been, it wasn't a full pot size bet. It was that range where it was almost like 3/4, where it seems like someone's just trying to make it scary. But there's no way to know for sure. So here he's got an ace-6 offsuit. I imagine he's going to fold, but with Rampage, you just don't know. So let's see here. Well, now he's out. Yeah, all right. He might have been out before that. Let's see. We're looking for his stack to adjust so that we can see what happened, right? What are the significant hands here? He's down to 99,000, 98,000. 91,000. It looks like he opened this pot with an ace-5 offsuit, an unconventional play, and he took it down. But you know what? He won a bracelet. He's already clicked the fold button. Let's see. We're looking for... Well, now he's got an ace-jack. He raises pre-flop, doubling the blinds, gets re-raised behind, And now he's got a decision to make by Lakers GTTD. That's really interesting. For anybody that doesn't know, there's still 389 players left, and Lakers GTG, that was a good fold for the record. This is the guy he ends up heads up against at the very end. So he was playing against this player really early on at this table, and they ended up being the last two left in the entire tournament. That's fascinating. You know, this is 2 hours and 16 minutes into a basically 9-hour video. He's playing against Lakers GTG, and these two end up heads up at the end. It's amazing. So let's see. He took a little hit with that. I like the raise with the ace-jack. I like the fold with the ace-jack. You can make an argument that ace-jack offsuit in under the gun +1, under the gun +2 is a little bit too loose to be doing that with. I like that argument too, but I'm still okay with that from my personal opinion on playing poker. I am totally open to any questions from anybody right now. But yeah, let's see. So he's got queen-jack offsuit. This is from 2 days ago. He's got queen-jack offsuit. It gets min raised, call, and a lot of pros would actually ship here with the queen-jack card removal. This hand doesn't play very well multi-way. He elects to call, and he does flop top pair here, and a 12,200 chip bet. I gotta figure he ends up winning this hand somehow, but I don't know. Let's see. This is an interesting spot. It's like if you call, you don't really gain any information. You got to think about this player's range. They raised early position, so there's a lot of hands that they could have. Man, this is a scary bet. So if you were to raise on the flop, you would be costing yourself less money. So he made the laydown. I like that play. Personally, because that's what ends up happening a lot multi-way, you end up just having to fold pre-flop though, or maybe jam pre-flop. It makes that call pre-flop. Queen-jack offsuit does not play well multi-way. Like, look at that scenario. You flop top pair and you have to let it go to any aggression. Because of that, why put the chips in the first place, honestly? Unless you're only really going to get paid and feel comfortable with a straight or two pair. It's just a tough hand to play in that spot. So probably makes sense to have not called that at all because of what you just witnessed, which is he had to let it go. And now he's down to 77,000 in chips. And he was up against the player that he ended up heads up against at the end of the tournament. That's just so fascinating. Really, really interesting. All right, let's jump forward a little bit here. And we can see he's got 10 jack. I just jumped into this spot. I imagine he's going to raise here. I don't know though. It changes if this other player does something. Oh, well, now he's facing a raise, so he's going to probably just fold it. Yep. And let's see. Tournament is hand for hand. That happens, as you can see, there's 371 people. That happens when you get to the money, so they're hand for hand. That must have been pretty exciting for him to feel like he was just about to cash this. Ooh, I got a couple of notifications, maybe comments on videos or something. All right, let's go forward a little bit. Okay. Oh man, I gotta find that sweet spot. There's not a lot of room to maneuver here. So what I want to do is, it looks like his very first hand back is going to, or the next hand is going to be pocket 10. So let's see what happens here. We do have this on double speed, which makes a big difference. But yeah, all right. Tournament is no longer hand for hand play. That means that they've made the money, and he is celebrating. That's funny. You can see. Can you see him sweating? Like, it looks like there's literally sweat pouring all over him. I was enjoying the moment, and I didn't actually see what he did pre-flop. I don't want to rewind it, so I'll just let this play out. Depending on who the pre-flop raiser was, it changes whether or not you bet. I don't want to go back because I missed it. I'll let you guys watch what happens, and we can see here. So let's see. He makes a bet on the flop. Their heads up. He gets called. Man, it's a tough spot. I feel like it's really easy for Lakers to take this pot away, which is Ooh. Does it really go check check for 47? Oh, it didn't matter. He had showdown value, which is why he did it. Wow, so Rampage gets down to 58k at this point in the tournament. He ends up, I'm going to say this again, he ends up winning the bracelet in this tournament that we are watching. That's pretty fascinating. All right, let's go forward a little bit and see any significant hands. No, he's just slowly chipping down. Now they're on 5-minute break. Oh, something happened. Something happened. All right. We saw sevens. We're trying to break down the hand play here. So what he did was, with about 13,000 in the pot, he open shipped with ace jack. He got called by queen 10. Crazy. And he took it down. That's a good for him. Then he got that ace, the all in there. I totally support. And then getting called by queen 10. I mean, you can't ask for much better than that. Pocket sevens. There's no small blind in this hand. There's a big blind of 5,000. He decides to raise from under the gun, +1, or sort of +2 because there's one player missing, and he gets uncontested. That's got to feel good. You know, you got 2,500, 5,000 blinds, and you're in early position, about to get hit by the blinds again. You are under 100k in this spot, and you know, winning a couple of hands there is huge. All right, let's see. Well, he's a big blind with king jack offsuit here. All right, what do we think? What do we think? So he's faced with a raised 12,000. This is a hand that if it's not multi-way, you can defend. Well, once it goes all in like that, you just gotta let it go, which is unfortunate. But a raise and an all-in ship, yeah, and he did that for sure. So let's see here. Now we're just curious what happens. You know, I said that if anyone wants to see what happens, now I feel obligated to leave it up, although I sort of wanted to move on. But we'll just watch, because maybe, you know, with his king jack, he would have seen what would have happened. That type of thing can tilt you. Yeah, he ends up folding. All right. So 6-3 in the small. He's not doing anything with that. So he's got 76, and maybe he's out of the other tournament because he doesn't seem to be going back and forth to it anymore. Oh, something happened. This is 256, 257, 3. So he goes all in with jacks. Oh, that wasn't even it though. So he goes all in with jacks and goes uncontested, and then he's queen 10 on the big blind. And it seems like let's see. Maybe I should change this title here. It seems like in this hand, let's see. They do go all in. Wait. How does he have queens? Oh, I thought he had a different hand here. What just happened? 259.00. So let me go to 258.13. He's got queen 10 here. Okay. And this was the very next hand he had queens. And he's rubbing his hands together. All right, that was how that happened. I get it now. What else do we have here? I just want to change this one sec while I let this play on his big blind for a second. Breaking down YouTuber Rampage Poker. Breaking down the play of YouTuber Rampage Poker winning a bracelet. I am an experienced poker player. I'm not going to say I am qualified to be doing this, but I'm going to have fun trying. So let's see. So yeah, so this is, how many players are left? There's 3. What did that say? I have to like get close to it. 232 players left at this point. He's in the money. He's got 130,000 left. Let's see. 10-3. We'll try to find the significant hands. He drove to New Jersey and lied to his mom about what he was doing. She said not to do this. He drove to New Jersey and ended up, I think he might have been in a hotel maybe or something. So ace queen, he raises, he gets called. Again, I have this on 2x speed. I was gonna say that should be a mandatory C bet. Heads up. You just give yourself a chance of winning the pot, and you might actually have the best hand. And so, all right, he's at 150,000. Let's see what else. This is a big blind. Let's watch what happens here. He's in for 6,000, 8-9 suited, raise from the button to 14K. Most people would probably fold this, just let it go, but not Rampage. Check. Not a lot you can do here if they bet. I mean, what do you do? Like raise them and just like go for it? How do you stay in this hand? He is gonna raise? No, he's folding. He was just like he didn't want to, but he was gonna fold. 9-5 suited. I can't imagine he plays that. He's got 140K, 150K, some little insignificant hands, probably. All right, here, under the gun, king, queen suited. By the way, I don't really like the way these cards look. It's hard to tell what they are, right? Like, come on, WSOP, you can do better than that. Me putting that social pressure on them. He does get called, and wow, does he flop good there. He flops top pair and a flush draw, and he's faced with the big blind going all in. I mean, that's a call for sure. They had middle pair with the ace of clubs in order to eliminate possible flushes. Can't argue with that. He wins that hand. I mean, that worked out great for him, and there's nothing that he would change about that. Some people would argue maybe not to play king-queen suited from under the gun. I mean, I think that's too tight. I totally understand playing it from there. If you get re-raised, it could be tricky. Being out of position could be tricky, but with a flop like that, I mean, you're just super happy. So, let's see. So he's probably feeling pretty good. I mean, look around the chip stacks at the table at this point. He's up there, barely with the chip lead, although we can't see the stack behind this little thing. That was an issue the whole time while he was streaming. This the word online in the bracelet there was in front of one of the seats. I felt a little bit like, hey, what's going on there when I was watching that. Let's see. So he's got 238. All right, let's find spots where it changes. Oh, it's a big hand. So he has king queen suited on the button. 4-8 blinds, raised to 17,000, and he 3-bets it. King queen of diamonds, 3-bets it pre-flop. I see there's definitely an argument that can be made for doing that. His plan is probably, if he has a plan, it's if he gets shipped on, he's folding, but he doesn't, and there's 110,000 in the pot. They check, and a C bet here is going to take it down a reasonable amount of the time. His style was to check in these spots a lot, and I mean, he prevents himself from getting trapped by doing that. And when you prevent yourself from getting trapped and you call a lot, it does make it so that you can make some plays that other people can't. Here, they bet. I mean, he basically said, he polarizes himself once he checks there. He's either got a really strong hand or he's got a hand like the one that he has. And so them taking a stab for about, a little bit more than third the pot, it's worth trying to do against a hand range like his at that point after he's done that, because if he calls, he's pretty strong. So now he does the thing that poker players do, where you had the chips and you feel the loss of the chips. And when I say poker players, the pros don't feel the loss. They're on to the next hand. Here's my situation. Here's what I'm doing. But he's just like emotional. He's an emotional 22-year-old. I love it. I really like watching that. He folded pocket fours there, by the way. That's pretty good. A lot of people would suggest that. So he's got 190K here. Let's see what he does next. What is the next real jump to his stack? 190K. It's pretty small amounts. He's kind of going down a little bit at a time. Nothing that I feel. Ooh. All right, let's watch and see what happens here. If you didn't notice that, we just saw a 400,000 in chips. It seemed like his Jack 8 on the big blind ended up getting him more than a double up, even a triple up possibly. Let's see what happens. Let's watch it together. Here's the previous hand. We get an all-in and then an all-in behind him. You know, it's tough. Like, your tournament can go crazy. The guy that has 128,000, oh, wow, look at that. Like, if Rampage in that spot had pocket kings under the gun, his tournament's over, you know? Like, you just don't know how it's going to work. So here he is. He's in for 10,000. There's an all-in for 17.9. I'm guessing that you're going to see a call or two. But maybe it was a different hand that he did that. Oh, so he's just going to call here. He's against King 10. And he ends up with the straight. Well, cool. And then he's got 200K. And then the very next hand in the small blind, he gets pocket jacks. So there's 25,000 in the pot to start. He's got about 200,000. He's faced with a raise. This is a pretty clear jam spot. You're going to gain that 20%. You can also 3-bet it. There's nothing wrong with that. Jamming, I think, is a little bit more effective. But ace 4. He gets ace 4 to jam on him. Wow. And he doubles up against an ace 4. So listen, if you were to jam with jacks there, you're never getting ace 4 to go in. All right. He managed to get ace 4 to go in by 3-betting light. And then look at this. He's got ace king the very next hand. They go all in. He makes a raise. Ace 5 against ace king, and he's got the nut flush draw, and the ace king ends up winning that one too. And all of a sudden he's up to 450K. Pretty cool. Like I said, we are recapping. We're kind of skipping around to see the significant hands and talking about them from the tournament strategy standpoint. I'm doing this just for fun, and you know, Rampage is a fellow YouTuber. I've never actually met him. He's a poker vlogger. He doesn't teach how to deal like I do, but it's fun watching his vlogs. He does a good job. Like Brad Owen, the way that he communicates and the video work that he does is really solid. Here he's got ace king suited. His poker play is somewhat questionable though. Although he won this event. So look, he's jumping up and down. It's really likable. And now he's got 600K. He's got a lot of chips to work with at this point. And for the record, with ace king suited in that spot, that's a pretty straightforward play. Somebody jams early position. You wake up with ace king. You're happy to be in that spot. So now let's see. He's on a tournament break. So he's got 624. We're going to try to find a jump in chips that's significant so we can see what the hand's like. Here he's got ace king. He won it again. Let's see. Ooh, you see another jump. Oh, pocket kings. Look at that. Big blind pocket kings. He gets raised. So he does a 3-bet here from the big blind at 88,000. I like that play. It makes it so this player is basically making a decision for their whole stack, and this player has a chance to go over the top against a monster, which is pocket kings. He got pocket kings a lot in this tournament. I mean, in order to win a tournament, you have to run good in addition to playing well, and you know he did. Look at that flopping top set. That's a pretty clear check to try to get this player to jam. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. You can try to get your money in any time, and they are drawing to a 10. They don't get the 10. And now he's up to 800,000, and he's feeling great. Probably feeling sort of stressed. You can see players remaining. It looks like 127 or so. So they are dropping pretty quickly. That does tend to happen in these tournaments where people try to make the money, and so they'll sit on small stacks, just kind of folding their way to the money because it's a $500 buy-in. You know, a lot of the time you want to try to hit that $750. It's a lot of money to just get, period. And then once you're in the money, you kind of you got to build a stack, right? So a lot of people will start to bust, and those numbers will go down pretty quickly. And also, I am playing this on 2x speed, and online poker is very, very fast in general. So here he is. He's at 800 something thousand. I'm enjoying watching this all the way through here. Well, hold on. All right, let's go back slightly. This is 350. So he's first to the pot with ace-6 suited, and he makes a raise to 28.5, a little bit right around 2.5x. He flops bottom pair against somebody with a pretty big chip stack. Even though he's got a monster stack, it's pretty big. This is usually a c-bet. He does bet, and then he gets min-raised. That's a tough spot to be in. It almost seemed like a misclick with the way that they min-raised. Although, oh no, now that I'm thinking about it, this is 2x speed, so it's fine. And he thought to himself, you know what? I don't really know what I'm up against in this spot. I feel like their range for the min raise is probably pretty strong in general, so I'm just gonna let it go. A lot of the time that min raise is trying to build a pot. Look at this now. He's got a big chip stack against a big chip stack, and he calls a raise with an ace-deuce suited, flops the weak top pair, and the player bets about quarter pot against him. So he says, I'm going to call, and now he ends up with a straight flush draw, and they check to him. This is almost an automatic third pot bet. Something in the 50,000 range is what I was thinking. 65, a little more than I would do. I have no idea if I'm right, but they do make the call, and now they check, and you probably got to check back for showdown value against. Hope they have jacks or queens or kings, or yeah, they have ace jack. They end up winning this pot. Man, that flush would have done him good though. So look, there's a small difference. The amount that I was considering betting, if someone raises you, you got the flush draw, it's a pretty good ship opportunity with draws to the nuts. But if you are against the ace-jack hands that you could be against, your 50,000 chip bet is... The 65,000 is not going to get an ace-jack to fold, right? So you might as well bet closer to 50,000 and give yourself a chance to get some thin value against other hands, such as the pocket jacks or queens or kings, and you've got yourself the same situation against ace jack, but you save like 15k. Let's see. So now he's at 653. I mean, it's a super minor criticism. It's just something that I personally think. So 657. What are we looking for? We're looking for changes in chip stack value that are significant in order to be able to talk about the hands that we see. I don't like the way that the tone of my voice sounds right now. Oh, 715. Let's see what happened. All right, so here he is. He's got 624,000, and he gets dealt ace king. Well, that's a raise. Let's see if he does 32 or something bigger. 35.5, slightly more than 2x. He gets called by the button, who has a bigger chip stack than him. Always scary to get called by someone that can knock you out of the tournament. So, the big blind calls as well, and we're looking at... he has a tendency to check these a lot, and he bets this one. Listen, I like the c-bet there. The amount was nice and small, but it's still an amount that it's like you got to think about, and you have to kind of have something in order to keep going. There's a pretty dry board. So he ended up taking that one down. It's a great feeling, and he's eating something. Let's see what he has to say for a sec. Oh, and he gets a super chat. Someone gave him $19.99. He made the comment a few times during both of these live streams that the chat in his live stream while he's playing the tournament really helped him. It helped keep him focused. The people that watched his live stream were very supportive, and that seemed to affect him really positively. So here he's the big blind with king queen facing the all in, and he does make the call, and he does lose this one. I mean, it's a pretty reasonable call. Also, you're coin flipping at best most of the time, which is kind of what's tough about that. But he has a pretty big chip stack, so you can certainly make a case for calling the king queen there. Now he's a small blind and he's faced with these all ins, and he's got the auto fold on. Totally makes sense. One of them was kings, one of them was jacks, one of them was a6, and we all know which one won. And now the player to his right has quite the chip stack. It looks like 1.4 million. Queen 9 suited. He wants to fold, and he does. I was like, is he going to go back and call? That's pretty funny. So let's see. All right, 638,000. We're looking for his next significant spot. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Ooh, look at that. Now he's at 900,000. All right, well. Oh, he opens with a 6-10 suited, and he flops top pair. And he gets shipped on all in or the over bet, and he calls, and they had the open-ended straight draw. That is sort of a draw like type of hand. Like when somebody goes all in over the top, I mean, you know, they're basically saying, good luck, you have to call me in order to be able to get this pot. And it's scary to do that if you don't have a piece of the board. Also, they could theoretically have had ace-10 there, and here he goes. Now he's got pocket kings. Like we said, he gets pocket kings a lot in this tournament. This is Rampage Poker, a YouTuber, fellow YouTuber. He's a poker vlogger. He doesn't teach anything related to how to deal. This is 2 days ago. He live streamed an entire WSOP Bracelet event, and he ended up winning the bracelet for $160-something thousand and a $500 buy-in and the gold bracelet. So he now is... he's a poker vlogger and bracelet winner. Pretty remarkable. He does get his money in bad a few times in this tournament. It's really likable watching how he plays. You know, pros could definitely argue that he's got a lot to learn, but at the same time, he plays pretty solid. He makes some big laydowns that are tough to make, that a lot of inexperienced players would not make, and you know, saves chips by doing it. So here he's got 911,000, and let's skip ahead to see. So here he's the big blind with ace-4 offsuit. Man, they really make it look like aces, don't they? I really wish that they would change this. Oh, he calls. This is a tough call from the big blind with ace-4 off, because you know this is coming, right? And how do you continue on in the hand from here? I do think, and he makes the call. His ace high. He's probably got to check this. He might be thinking that they're just c-betting and his ace might be good. And when they check back, he's probably feeling pretty good about it. I imagine he's going to check and just hope that they check behind with showdown value. But nope, he bets. He bets the 9 and he just takes it down. He might have been good there anyway, honestly. And now he's just crossed the 1 million chip mark for the first time in this tournament. Pretty cool. Desiree says, love this. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. This is my first attempt to break down poker play on my own. I've done it many times with poker pro Michael Lockey. He's cashed for over $1 million in tournaments. He and I together have a YouTube channel that we're just starting out, but it's called Live Poker Coaching. It's a YouTube channel that he is the poker pro. I learned a lot from him, and I threw that in the chat in case anybody wants to check out Live Poker Coaching. He and I have 3 videos up there so far where we basically do a series of 500 hands in sequence of 2-5 no limit cash game, and we break down all the decisions in the hands. I should say he breaks down all the decisions in the hands, and you guys can watch me learn about poker in that session, although I love playing 2-5. Here he has pocket kings. He raises pre and takes it down. Obviously nothing wrong with that. And in case anybody's wondering, the standard raise in these tournaments, especially online, is about 2.5x, sometimes 2x the big blind. It's like it gets the job done, so why raise more and risk more? But then when you're raising that amount with your weaker hands that you're raising with, you have to do it with your stronger hands as well, because otherwise it's giving away information about what you have. And look at this here. He calls another raise with ace-deuce suited. Man, that's just fascinating. I don't think a lot of players would be doing that. Maybe I'm totally wrong. And he flops bottom pair, and if you're calling with ace deuce pre-flop and you get bottom pair, it's hard to let it go. He does make the call. He's got bottom pair on this board. So now he's only beating a bluff with high cards if this player decides to bet the turn. It's tough to bet the turn though when you just got called on the flop. But they go for it. They bet 188,000. Let's see what he does here. He makes the fold, which I totally agree with, and that is exactly why it's hard to call ace deuce suited in the first place. Ace deuce plays multi-way really well. Something about these tournaments though that I don't think it should be understated. Players have a tendency have it to go raise, shove, right? The chip stacks that people have in these tournaments, they tend to be the raise, shove stack. So when you call with like an ace suited, you're putting yourself at risk of not even seeing a flop because of how desirable the raise call is to shove against. And he can't call the shove, so it's a pretty tough thing to make that call with the ace deuce suited. He did it twice. He won one of the hands by making a bet on the river, and he ended up losing that one, but he still got a nice little chip stack at 947,000, and we do know he ends up winning this tournament. So we're going to skip ahead now and see if we can see any significant jumps to his stack. I mean, a little bit, but nothing I feel like I want to go back for. You know what? I didn't do the last one. I'll check out and see how he goes from 900 down to 800 something. We'll see what happened here when this hand is completed. Looks like the limits went up, and he's got king 5 offsuit. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be this hand. No, it's not. So it seems like it's going to be the next hand. Oh, and that came real quick. Jack 7 suited. This hand can look sexy. But generally speaking, it's not a hand to play with. However, why not? Let's raise it. Based on what we know about what happens soon after this, he does not seem likely to win this hand. But yeah, he gets shipped on. It's just not a hand that you can continue with at this point, so he lets it go. And let's see, let's skip ahead. So 840, he's back up to 910, 925. What is going on? Am I going in the wrong direction? Yeah, I must be going in the wrong direction. All right, 838, 811. Oh, we missed a significant hand, but the result of it doesn't seem too significant, so we'll just keep going a little bit. All right, he's got 929, so he's going to win a hand soon. So he's a small blind with queen 7, and it gets folded around to him, and he just ships. Really, really hard to call from the big blind in that spot. It's just really hard to call. I don't mind that ship at all. Here he's got 10-4. Wow, a player's all in for 3,000. And it says 58 players remaining. So we still have, I mean, it's going to be a lot quicker for us, but there's, it looks like 4 hours and 15 minutes remaining, and there's 58, what does that say? 55 players in this tournament left. He is laddering and laddering and laddering here. Pretty cool. Let's see. You can see that he's feeling sort of stressed. I just like how much he's sweating. I don't know that he's actually sweating. It just looks like it. Maybe he ate spicy food, but it's kind of been like this for a while. We're just taking a second and taking a look at what's going on here. Let's see what his next hand is. 5-3. All right. So he's got 971. We'll find the next jump here. He lost a little bit with something. All right. Well, look at that. Oh, pocket nines. All right. So 12,000, 24,000 blinds. Lakers GTG. He's back at the table. This is the guy that he ends up heads up against at the end of the whole tournament. He played against him so many times throughout this tournament. It's fascinating. So he makes the raise to 54-5. Reasonable raise with pocket nines. Pocket nines is a great hand. Sort of undervalued, I think, sometimes in tournament. And let's see. Small blinds, thinking about it. If they ship, you're in a tough spot. Now they say you're supposed to have a plan. I don't know what I would do if I had nines and I get shipped on here. we're guessing he calls though. Look, I don't hate the call. I just don't know if it's correct. And he ends up being against ace-6, and he ends up winning with 9s. And he ends up clapping. He's actually probably clapping like this. It's double speed. And look at this, 1.2. Pocket 9s is strong enough to call there sometimes. Again, I don't know whether or not that's the right call, but I certainly can't judge it negatively. So we've got 8-10 suited, and he's probably feeling good. Let's see if he folds like he should. Nope. He raises. I mean, he won the bracelet, so fold like he should is a thing that doesn't really make sense. He is, oh my god. He's up against a 2 million chip stack, and he flops the nuts. Let's see. No, he checks back. C-bet there is probably more common, but his check does induce a bet from them. Whether or not they have a good hand, we don't know yet. He just calls. He gets the 8 on the river. It's not exactly what he wanted. So now it's like if they have an 8, wow, and they bet into him, there's a really high chance that they don't have a 10 here. So it's nice to raise. It's a really tough spot to be in. I like the raise amount. It says you have a 10, you do have a 10, but also it's a little fishy. Like if you went all in there, then it's really likely as a 10. A min raise might have been a little bit more effective there because the 8 came on the river. But you're probably not getting called by anything there, honestly. You know, maybe if someone has pocket queens or jacks or something. But it just seems like they would have raised pre 3-bet. All right, so he's at 1.6, and he's probably feeling pretty good. We're going to skip ahead and see when the next real significant jump is. Ace-7 offsuit. He doesn't have the fold clicked. Oh, right now it's clicked because of the raise. That's what I'm looking for, by the way, whether or not he's got the fold clicked. So here he's got king-jack. He raises to 63-5 pre-flop. And he gets shipped on again by this position. I mean, you can't call here. You got to let it go. And he does correctly let it go. So that's a part of it. It's like tournament poker is raise-fold poker, you know. I will say this, it's got to feel great in a bracelet event to be down to 41 players and have a 1.5 million chip stack with 14,000, 28,000 blinds. Like, that is amazing. I've never been in a situation where I could feel awesome like that. I am super happy for him. I mean, I don't know what his financial life is like, but to get 160-something thousand in his pocket, gotta feel great. And like, he doesn't even have, because it's online poker, so I have that weird feeling like, oh my god, I have to convert this to Bitcoin. I don't know if they're going to let me cash it out. But this is WSOP.com, and he drove to New Jersey for this, where New Jersey and Nevada are the places where it's allowed. So, you know, it's like it's easy to cash out with them. Here he goes, pocket kings, under the gun +1. And let's see what he raises to. Probably about 60-something. Yeah, 63.5. That's been his number for this betting round, this blind round, rather. And he gets shipped on by the same player. He's fist pumping and everything. They have ace king, and he's sweating it, and he ends up winning it. And I mean, that was a very ABC. Like, I totally get the ship by the ace king. It's been working against him. Might as well keep doing it. Ace king is only 30% against even kings. You know, you're still not in terrible shape. And here he is with all of the people watching him. And he's got 2.2 million in chips with 41 players left. All right, let's go a little bit forward to see his next significant moment. This is interesting. It looks like he had 8-5 suited, and he decided to turn his hand into a bluff and raise there. Seemed like it worked for him. All right, 2.3 basically. Trying to find his next significant chip jump. 2.3. He's up to 2.4. All right, we'll go back and look at this hand. 525, 55, 525.08. So it's pre-flop here. He's faced with a pretty large raise. This is a little bit larger than you usually see. and I'm guessing he makes the call. Ace jack, offsuit in position, flops top pair. So I don't know how I feel about the call. I think you can make a case for 3-betting. I think you can make a case for folding. I think you can make a case for calling. Let's see. I got, because of the 2x speed, I actually missed what happened on the flop. But the check there, check back. I mean, listen, that check back is great. It makes it so that now you feel like you might get the player to induce it. It makes it so that they're a lot less likely to have a hand. They had pocket nines, and boy, did they get him on that. They flopped a set against him with his ace jack, and look, you can see his body language here. He feels bummed, even though he still has 1.6 million in chips, which is a great amount. By the way, something that's really good to know, okay? When you see a player bet the pot on the river, it is very frequently a strong hand. That's something that my poker coach / I work with Mike. He's a good friend of mine too, but he has told me over and over again, when they bet the pot, it means that they're strong more often than not. So that 512,000, I had that thought there, and I'm thinking, like, I feel like you've created a situation by checking the turn where you make it seem like you're weaker, which makes it more likely to bet, but they don't often bet the pot there. So I haven't seen what happened in this hand. It looks like he takes it down. He's up to 1.8. He seems to love ace deuce suited, which is likable in a way. But yeah, pot size bet from out of position on the river is often a strong hand. And that being said, the more that knowledge spreads, the more it turns into a weak hand. But as of right now in poker, that's how it works. Man, I just think it's so interesting that Lakers GTG is right here, just because he ends up heads up against him, and he keeps playing against him on the journey there. Really, really, really cool that he streamed this whole thing live. I mean, what are the chances, right? Like, I don't know that a piece of content like this exists where somebody plays a tournament pretty much start to finish and streams it live on YouTube and gets a bracelet. Like, I can't think of that happening. I don't know that I've ever seen it. We see Mike the Mouth. He has his going. Mike the Mouth has this ego to him that it's such a poker player ego, and I don't even know if he's aware that he has it. I've watched his live stream yesterday a little bit, and it was cool. I found myself kind of wanting to root for him, and then he has that ego, and I don't love it. I don't. But at the same time, I certainly respect him as a poker player. I mean, he goes on his rants and stuff. He hasn't done it as much lately on TV or anything. It was mostly like 10, 15 years ago. But my reason for bringing that up was because watching Rampage, watching Ethan here, he's just very likable, and like he's trying his best type of thing, and it's really, really, really likable. I found it to be to translate to a really good watch, and like I said, I appreciate that he created this piece of content that could be watched later, and I just think it's really cool. So let's see here. He's got 1.8. We're going to skip ahead a little bit. My random conversation. I decided I'm back to wanting to be ready. Ooh, 1.8. We missed about a 300k swing. Let's see what he did it with. Seems likely that it's going to be the next hand. Queen 10. He's the small blind with the Queen 10 offsuit. And let's take a look at this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to normal speed and turn the sound on. He gets raised. He tends to call from the small blind a lot with hands like this. I think that in the long run, that's a mistake. Because you're out of position all the time here. But let's see. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. So here he flops. Pretty big hand. Trip tens. The ace is a tough hand, or it's a tough card to come. Could be against aces. Could be against king queen. Like king queen that was open ended gets there. He is leading out, and he does get called here. So now it's like you don't know what he's thinking exactly. So he bets 235. He's trying to get some value out of this. I think he's saying if he gets shipped on, he has to call. I don't know that I agree with that as the plan in general, because what hands are you going to be beating? There's not a lot of hands you'd be beating at this point if you do get shipped on, but yeah, it worked for him.
Back up to 2 mil. Alright, we're on break.
Alright, back up to 2 mil and on break. Alright, I'm going to go back to muting this and going back to double speed. Let's see. So he has 2.05. Ace-9 offsuit, he folds. Pocket 10's in the big blind with an all-in here for less. And a raise to 120. So he 3-bets it, which, I mean, I personally like that play, to 477. You can't really 3-bet it there light, so he gets shipped on. Wow, does he make the laydown? I think this is a fold. And he does fold against kings. And listen, like I said, he makes some laydowns. I mean, that's a big laydown. A lot of people would go with 10s there and just hope that you're coin flipping or against a weaker hand. But I think that that's the right laydown, and I'm happy for him that he won the tournament and was able to make that. Right now, he's probably feeling like that uncomfortable I had over 2 million in chips feeling, but I mean, you can't let it get to you. So let's see. He's at 1.5 here, 1.6. Looks like ace queen suited he raised and everyone let it go. King 8 suited. So he's in the big blind here with king 8 suited, raised to about 2x. He does make the call and he flops the gutter with a backdoor flush draw and 2 overs. He checks, gets checked behind him, 204,000. Let's see what he does. This is a tough spot. I mean, it's a really tough spot to be in. So he decides to ship with his semi-bluff. I don't mind that play. I mean, you are going to get called by hands that have you pretty dominated. You do have a gutter. You've got 2 overs. I mean, unless you're up against aces, you're probably pretty live, and he made it work for him. I think that that's a pretty sophisticated, good play. Calling king 8 suited from the big blind there is tough. I don't know what the right decision is there, but I do think you have to be really good post-flop in order to make the call with king 8 suited there in the first place. So here he's got pocket 4s, and it's just the blinds, and he leads out betting. I don't know if he raised pre-flop because I got a 2x and I was talking. Sometimes when I'm talking, I'm not like watching the exact action. I'm used to it going slower. So he's got 2.5 here, and I actually think I've seen a lot of what's left here. Because, all right, pocket 7s, here's the blinds. He makes it 135, and he's up against the player he heads up against later in the tournament, and they fold to him. Nothing wrong with that. Ace 6 suited. He loves his hand. He loves ace suited. Maybe he just loves ace deuce suited, and I just got it wrong. But he does let it go. He makes a laydown 2.5. Let's see. Let's go a little bit ahead. Well, you got something. All right. Let's see. So it looks like his big blind he ends up playing with a 9-8 suited. Let's check out what happens for that, and we'll talk about the decisions. This is pretty fascinating, though. I'm sort of out of the camera, huh? All right, 8-9 of clubs, and he's in for 60,000. Notice the antes, total 60,000. Oh, he gets shipped on. So somebody ships for 307,000, and he decides to make the call with 8-9 suited. That is 9 high he made the call with there. He made the call with a 9 high. That's wild. But he did it, and he won it. It's tough to play against somebody who's willing to do that, you know? And there we go. That's quite that was a large percent of his chips to make that call. It did pay off for him. I don't think that most pros would do that. But like I said before, I'm super happy for him. Now this is interesting. He was a small blind button player, raises, and a chip stack that's got a huge amount of chips and can afford to take the hit, just shoves on him. You can shove pretty loose there with that many chips. See, Jack 6 suited, 2.8 million. He's down to 20, it looks like 23 there. Queen 7 offsuit against a min raise. I think this is still a fold. Knowing him, he might call this. He likes to defend and then be in pretty tough spots. So he defended here, and now he's going to check. I imagine that he's going to have to fold to their C-bet here, which is why Queen 7 off is a tough hand to defend with. Like, I don't even know that you defend with Queen 7 suited, honestly. And when I say, like, do this, like, I don't know that you even defend with Queen 7 suited. I do want to be fair and say I'm speaking in terms of expected value over the long run. In the short run, you can certainly come up big, and if you know anything about the players you're up against, you can make different decisions. But all right, let's see here. So he's got 2.5 now, and let's skip ahead a little bit and see when his stack jumps. That looks like it's mostly just from the big blind it jumped. Looks like he won a small hand there. All right, so he's about to have pocket nines here, and when he has pocket nines, he's gonna flop a set, and you can see he just goes crazy with it. So let's do this.
So still in the middle, and still with third chips, like in fact we still have 2.5, and third chips is indicative as to how tight this is right now. It's
so as soon as this hand starts, I'm gonna slow it down, and we'll be able to listen to him.
Find a way to chip up. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna find edge. Like Tommy is Craig Lee comped.
All right, let's see what happens here.
Craig Lee. Okay, I'll look that up.
So everybody folds, and here he goes. He gets pocket nine in this hand.
I'm hoping to see some sort of.
And he's under the gun. He's in the listen. He was in the middle of a sentence. He stopped it because he got a playable hand under the gun, where you do the most sweating, and he raises to 185,000.
Thank you for the 10. It's much appreciated, man.
He after raising with pocket nines, he thanks somebody for a $10 super chat. It's kind of badass. I like it.
Have to call.
Now he gets shipped on again. So I didn't see that before. So he gets shipped on here for 1.2 million, and that represents about half of his stack. He made the call last time with nines. That is probably a good call. However, it's tough, right? You can certainly make the argument that it's a fold, but I think most people would say it's a call. And now he's just got to fade the 10, which he's yelling not to get.
Let's fucking go!
Excuse the language, I didn't see that coming. Look at that, though. After this hand, he's up to about 4 million. Pocket nines against ace jack, and he won the flip. That is a good way to win tournaments. You got to win a lot of flips in order to make it that far, though, for sure. And you can see, like, the raw emotion that he brings to this. Just absolute raw emotion. So now, the guy, Lakers GTG, the guy that he heads up against at the end of the tournament, ships for 1.5. He's in for the big blind. He wants to call. Wait, what just happened? Let me look at this. That's amazing. 6, 21, 32. Did you see what just happened there? He gets shipped on. He wants to make the call. Look at this. He wants to make the call. He's thinking about it.
What the fuck do I do? I think I just have to call this.
Look at this.
So...
His timer ran out and he ends up sitting out.
No. I have to click the time back every time? Are you fucking for real? Are you fucking for real?
Listen to this. He won the tournament, so it's okay, but that sucks. But that's online poker, right? That would never happen live. Oh, man, he's pissed. He's pissed.
Calls, then I feel like we're fine. But fuck.
Little does he know that he wins the bracelet, and that's exactly what he wanted to happen.
I gotta be... How do I still not know what the fuck to do?
Oh, I wish he wasn't cursing so much.
I can't be making those mistakes. Ace queen's a premium there.
This is
He's not jamming necessarily.
23 players remaining
Jam ace ten
at this point.
jack suited. Fuck.
And they end up folding. This is why he's likable though. He's real, you know. He's him. He feels these feelings so strongly. Meanwhile, against someone with a chip stack like that who's been a pretty solid player, and he's been at table after table with him, you don't have to call off that many chips with ace queen. I'm not saying calling isn't the right move there, but there's a lot of ace kings that you're against. There's a lot of kings that you're against there. Remember, that was a raise and then a 3-bet shove. It was not just an open raise. So the 3-bet makes it more likely that an intelligent player has a stronger hand. With that many people to come, ace queen might not be good there. Like, he might have saved himself a lot of chips. It's hard to tell. I don't know what the right play is, I'm being honest, but it's like there's a lot of situations where I feel like I do know the right play, and then there's some that I don't, and I'm just going to say I don't know the right play when I don't. Look at this player gets it in with ace 9. Here he's got queen 10 suited, and he is in the hijack, and it gets folded to him. The player in the big blind has a pretty big stack, so he's not really worried about getting shipped on by anybody but this player right here. Queen 10, it gets folded to T, Mo Money, and they fold and he takes that one down. So he's got about 4 million at this point. Let's jump ahead and see what happens with his stack. He had aces on this one. Hold on. He had aces a few times too. Let's just watch this hand with aces. 190 in the pot. Look at that. 190k in the pot. So he has about 50 bigs here. Oh, and he gets raised and then he re-raises, and Lakers probably just lets it go to his 3-bet. Which, I mean, look, 3-bet with aces. He's hoping he gets shipped on here. Look at him. The thing that's interesting is, like, you know, even when you have aces, yeah, you want to get shipped on there, but you have no chance of losing if they fold, no matter what hand is. So, I mean, it's a good feeling. You're adding. He just added about 15% to a stack, maybe a little bit more. Let's see. So we're seeing he's got 4.3. We're seeing, how does he have 10 deuce here? Right, so he ends up playing his big blind. 2, 3, 4 suited. Somehow he ends up playing his big blind here. I'm assuming nobody raises, but I guess I can't say that for sure. Let's see what happens. Does somebody limp? Does he call a raise? What happens that makes him play this hand? Maybe, oh, it's just limp by the small blind. So fold it around to the blinds and check. And I mean, it's reasonable to bet here when you get checked and limp to. Yeah, take it down. Why not? You're just giving chips there, honestly. That was very nice of the small blind. So here he's the small blind, and he ends up waking up with pocket 10s, and let's see what happens. He's against Timo Money. I feel like that player just switched their seats. Oh, they're down to 2 tables. There's 15 left. So he gets folded all the way around, and he min raises. Min raising from the small blind is probably not ideal. It's pretty easy to make that call from the big blind. It would be better to go maybe even 3 or 3.5. Something that a lot of players do is they learn to min raise or bet like 2.5 times pre, and then when they're in the small blind they do that same thing because they think that they want to stay consistent. He ended up winning that hand, but from the small blind in general it's better to make your raises slightly larger because you're out of position, and it's better to have more fold equity from that spot. It's easier to call you in position, and everybody's in position, so it's easier for everyone to call you. If you increase the amount that you're betting from the small blind pre-flop, you make it so that you have more fold equity. And that is a somewhat consistent thing that you see with poker pros. He min-raised there. It ended up working out for him, but he put himself in a pretty vulnerable spot. So here we've got 4.7. And they're on break. And we're looking to see any significant jumps. You can see he's got hovered over because he was thinking about calling with ace-7 and it flopped an ace, turned to 7, and he's just like, I would have had this. More chips, more chips, more chips. Big blind was 6-9. I don't expect him to do anything crazy here. Let's see. Folds around. Look at that. That's a great feeling. 7 deuce. All right, so 4.7, and let's find a jump in chips and see what happens. 4.3. Oh, the blinds take out about 180,000 plus the ante, so he literally just probably folded the blinds, and here he is. So he's got queen 10 offsuit. There's 14 players left. He has queen 10 offsuit, folded around to him, reasonable open. Looks like he's going to. He goes to 275, a little more than 2x, takes it down. Nothing wrong with that. Ramon says, hi, Mark. Hey, what's going on? We're in celebration of Rampage winning a bracelet. We're going through and we're talking about his play. I am very, very happy that a fellow poker YouTuber won. I just think it's the coolest thing ever. And yeah. Let's see. And so, yeah, we're talking about his play. He gets it in bad a time or two here. And, I mean, it's just really interesting watching him. His poker vlogs are interesting, too. He talks about himself as a bad 1-3 cash game player, a bad 1-3 no-limit player. Like, up until he won this bracelet, he's been talking about himself as a bad 1-3 no-limit player. He thinks he's good, don't get me wrong, but he also recognizes that he does funny things that were preventable, right? And so watching him play in this tournament, sweating, making it all the way down here, at this point in the tournament, I think it says he was guaranteed about $8,000, right? He ends up cashing for 160-something thousand and gets a bracelet. And it's just like amazing. I mean, everybody, I hope everybody that watches him, instead of wanting to criticize him or anything like that, you just want to live vicariously through everything he did, right? I mean, I've won small tournaments before. I've never won anything for more than a $50 buy-in, and I'm talking about online. And boy, this is just, it's really cool to watch. So let's see. Big blind 5-3. I can't imagine he does anything with this. Let's just keep looking at the stack. 3.9. So he lost a little bit. He went back up a little bit. Here it folds around to him. He's got ace king suited on the button. He get a lot of hands in this for sure. It does get called by the big blind. He has a tendency not to c-bet in these spots, and it's really interesting because I think it's a pretty standard c-bet because you're gonna get a lot of folds with a board like this. Like, there's not a lot of people that can call, and a lot of the time your c-bet with ace king is for value. It ends up being like an ace queen calls or something. So. But here he gets a flush draw. He decides to bet the turn, and he takes it down. Nothing wrong with that. And let's see. All right, let's skip ahead a little bit more. What is up? So here he raises with king jack off from the hijack. It's reasonable. He gets called by the big blind. Big blind donk bets where they bet in his face. He's thinking about it and he decides to make the call. And let's see what they do next. I think they bet the pot here. So he's got the king of clubs. He does have that flush blocker. This is a tough spot to be in. Top pair, you're the one that raised, and you're getting bet into, and he decides to jam. Really interesting play because by jamming there, you're only getting people who would possibly bluff at this to fold, right? So you're basically saying, like, are you really jamming for value? You might get king 10 to call there, but you feel like you'd be able to get that bet on the river anyway. I don't know how I feel about the jam, but he did it, and it worked out great for him. Let's see. He folded the 9-10 suited from under the gun. I'll say thank goodness. And now look at this chip stack. He's got 6.5 milli. Oh. What's going on here? We gotta get him through the blinds. It's like a little click goes so far. Oh, we want to see this hand. Come on. I want my skills here to work. Oh wow, look at that. He won. He called a small raise from the big blind, a small all in from the big blind with 10 jack. I can't really fault him for that. All the action had folded to him. Looks like the next hand he's gonna raise pre with 9s again. 9s have been pretty good to him in this tournament. So let's see. It's folding around to him. And he's going to make it something like 340, 375. It's a little bigger than what he's been doing. And he gets called and a lot in the pot. It's a pretty good flop for 9s, 8-8-4. He makes a super small bet that I imagine just about anything is going to call. He gets checked to. I think that bet was too small for the C bet there. And now he's making another super small bet. And it seems like he filling that ace, not liking that ace, and he gets blasted into. What does he do here? I don't remember. He calls and he's against kings. Wow, so he got trapped a bit there. He got really trapped there with against kings. Really interesting. He let's put it this way. He saved more than I would have. I respect that very much. What happened here? Hang on. Let's slow this down and look at this. So he has
the boy was
ace.
trying to help me.
He has ace. He's at 4.5 million. He has ace 5 suited. He has ace 5 suited, and someone shoves for 10 bigs for a third of his stack. Ace 5 suited, and it looks like he makes the call. I feel like that's a pretty tilty call.
Ace 5 suited is pretty good. Let's just rejam an ice up.
He rejams with ace 5 suited.
Eights.
He's against eights. Not a good play. But
Luck Box City. That's all we needed. All we needed was
Luck Box City. I love
the
that.
Luck Box. I suck, but I'm a Luck Box.
It's very likable. How can you not be happy that he's winning this tournament, right? If you're a poker pro and you hate losing to people like him, okay, fine. But anybody else, how can you not enjoy watching this? Wow, he just he reshoves with ace 5. I mean, to be fair, reshoving with ace 5 suited there, if you do get called by somebody else, unless you're against aces, you're never worse than 30% against them, but you're against another hand too. I just feel like there's no reason to do that in that spot. But nonetheless, here he was. I know, right? Desiree is doing the laughing emojis. I know, right? It's like... So, he's got pocket sixes, and they're down to 10 players. 10 players. One more, and they're at the final table. He's got pocket sixes on the big blind, and he gets shoved against. This is a spot where a lot of players with this type of chip stack might call but it's also a reasonable fold. Your best case scenario is a coin flip in almost every single scenario here with pocket sixes. I do still think it's probably a call, but yeah, you're against king eight. I mean, king eight, you're basically coin flipping, and he ends up winning, knocking somebody out, getting to the final table, and now he's got king jack. Let's take a look. Against a raise, he should be folding here, especially against somebody that's got him covered. Let's see what he does. Well, we don't find out because somebody else shipped, so he's definitely folding now. And it's ace queen versus ace king, and it looks like the ace king is going to win by a player that's really tight according to their name. 10-4. So look, we're at the final table here, and this is amazing, right? Like, this is the dream. Look at his chip stack. He's tied for first, basically. He's got second in chips, barely. At the final table of a bracelet event that there were like 2,000 something entries to for $500. First place is 164,000, and he finds himself here in this spot. That's just pretty remarkable. Now he's got himself a king 7 offsuit. And yeah, he's gonna fold that there. Let's see. And king 4 suited, gonna let it go. Queen 7. He's down to 6.8. Ace 5 offsuit, small blind. He does love hands like this. Look at that stretching. To be fair, though, I mean, he's been playing for a long time. It's got to feel great. I think he's locked up 13K or so at this stage. So ace 5 offsuit to a button raise should be a fold. But for him, it's a 3-bet. why not? Look, I don't know, actually. I say it should be a fold. You do have card removal with the ace, but he ends up getting called here. Let's slow this down and listen to this final table hand from this point out. So what do you do in this spot, right? It looks like he's c-betting here.
That's a really good flop.
Yeah, he does have a gutter and an over. He gets called by someone who's really tight, and a 5 comes on the turn. Boy, that's a scary turn for both of them, is the way that I would say it. He gets more equity with the 5 coming, and he pretty much bets all, like goes all in against the other player. They jam, he's gonna call, right? So he loses his ability to make a straight with the 5, but he does start beating all the over cards that he might be losing that are ace X.
Tank for a while.
So this is something that's interesting just from really tight's perspective here. Every single person that gets knocked out at this point is a lot of money to him. And if you look at the other chip stacks, he's not the low chip stack. He's got somebody that he's got 2.5, or he's got 1 million more chips than them. He's got more chips than this player. And so theoretically, when you're at the final table here and you're at 2.5 million in chips, your decision does include their chip stacks, because you could basically keep folding your way to another 10 grand, laddering your way up. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can't see it here, but I'm going to move my head, actually. Hang on a sec. So that you guys can see. You can sort of see the payouts. Where do I go here? Where's a fair spot? I'll put myself right here next to him. So you can see here, sorta, that he shows the payouts there.
If he does have a hand somehow, like pocket 9s, you just would jam it anyways. I don't think you have to be tanking. So I'm led to believe a hand that is tanking this hard and then folding.
He could easily have folded like 10s there, 9s there, 8s there. Well, maybe not 8s, but maybe not 9s either. I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to tell. I don't know if there's any way we'll ever find out what he had.
I'm gonna say that 5 helped us, but that was.
But look, now he's got 9 million, and this is really important because of what's going to happen soon.
Doesn't matter what happens.
We'll go back to double speed. I'll leave the sound on. Nah, I'm going to turn it off. He's going to sound like a chipmunk. It gets folded to him. He's got a huge chip stack against two opponents with small amounts, and he raises with king 8 off on the button. I like that play personally. You get shipped on, you let it go. All right, this is amazing. I've seen this hand before, and I need all you to see it too. So just watch this.
3,400 of you guys. You guys are insane.
So final table, blinds are 100,000, 200,000, and it's this player's turn. He has nine and a half bigs.
You guys are insane. Thanks for watching.
He's barely paying attention.
Fuck.
And
9 big blind shove.
9 big blind shove, and it's on him with ace 8 suited. Okay. If you call with ace 8 suited, what are you beating, right? You're 60-40 against a king queen, or a king jack, or a king 10. So king high is something that you're 60-40 against. Any pocket pair that's 8s or higher, you're about 30%. Any ace that's ace 9 or higher, you're about 30%. Okay? So there's a tiny chance that you might be 60%. There's a very low chance that from under the gun here, this player is shipping with an ace 7 or worse. So he's going to...
Early position. We can take the hit for sure. We can take the hit. Can we do it?
So he makes the call. I would argue that this is a terrible call, but I love it.
We're going to make the call.
And then watch what happens next.
See if we can find that double.
What does that mean? See if we can find that double. I think he means double up, but I don't think that makes any sense.
From early position, it's like I'm probably 40%. But 9 bigs.
So...
I'm assuming he should be folding often. But...
This player jams for 2.6. Now he's only got 700 something thousand more.
3.5 more big blinds down the shitter. I can't fold. Ace king in versus kings. Give me some bullshit. Give me some bullshit. Give me some bullshit. Give me some bullshit. Oh no!
Look at that.
No way! No way!
He just knocked out 2 players at the final table, laddered everybody 2 spots, calling with an ace 8 suited, nailing a flush on the end. If he gets an ace, he's dominated because someone has ace king. Like, he pretty much needed a flush 2 pair, or maybe a straight with his 8. Other than that, he's losing, and he ends up crushing it, going runner, runner. Not that that matters to the money in pre-flop, but look at that.
No way. No way. No way. No way.
And now he's sitting on 14 million in chips. And he just can't believe it. He said he's a luck box, right? I mean, that was just awesome. And by awesome, I don't mean, I mean, don't try this at home awesome. Let me see. So now he's at 14 million. He's got king 10 suited here. And he gets shoved on by the small blind. And so this is what we kept seeing with him. All right. I want to highlight this. He ends up on the big blind is what I meant to say. Big blind, king 10 suited. This is the same thing. He gets shoved on for about 10 bigs. His best case scenario here, is he is against like queen jack.
Not folding. Wish us luck.
And he's against ace jack. He's a 40% to win.
Come on.
And he ends up losing.
Okay. We can't always run.
Not a good call. I'm sorry. Not a good call.
Like fucking god.
But at the same time, it's hard to play against him when he's willing to make those calls. So he is trying to eliminate people. And I do want to qualify it. When I say not a good call, he won a bracelet, and I don't know, right? But when you think about the math of what you're up against by that shove, calling with a king 10, there's not a lot that you're beating. Any pocket pair you're either coin flipping with or you're significantly behind, and any ace you're behind, and most kings that are going to shove there you're behind. So really, you're hoping for a queen high in that spot. Here he's got pocket fives, and he's just given away a couple million out of his chip stack to a player at the final table that could do damage with that. He's got two players that are pretty short here too. But by calling, he has also made it, he chips all in and makes it so they have to make decisions. Love that. By calling, he makes it really hard for anyone to shove on him too. So there's certainly value. That's why I say I don't know for sure. Here he's got ace 10. He raises. And let's see what they do. Everybody folds, and he's just accumulating some chips here. Let's see his next significant spot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in. Someone got knocked out. Let's go back and see it. This player shoved with king, queen all in, gets called by ace 4. And there you go. Then there were 6. And he just laddered up again. Can we see what this says? So 6th place is 31,000. 5th place would be 41. Then it looks like 50 something. Then 74, 101, and 164. So let's see here. None of the small stacks at this point are like really at risk, other than champagne poppin'. Here he's got ace 7 offsuit that he folds, 6-handed under the gun, reasonable fold. Let's see. He's got a 5 deuce with the chip lead, 5 deuce, and he folds to the raise. Queen deuce suited from the small blind, folds to the raise. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just looking to see when his chip stack bumps up again or down. Man, he's at 11 million. Big blind, not that playable. Wait, he was at 11 million. Oh, okay. So here we've got his small blind. It gets raised. He re-raises. Let's turn it on. Oh no, what did I just do? Sorry guys. Was I past here? Oh, here we go. Whew, got lucky. Alright, so ace king suited, he re-raises against a player who has about as many chips as him. And this is interesting, like the two big stacks going at each other is scary.
What are you thinking about, sir?
Unless this player's got a big hand, he's probably either got to let it go or feel like he can outplay him. So he raises again. Let's see what happens.
Let's find a good flop. We're never folding.
He sounds annoyed.
Holy shit.
So look at this. He gets 4-bet,
Holy shit.
and he is out of position. He checks with gutter, 2 overs,
Holy
and a flush
shit.
draw. I wish it would stop cursing. But this raw emotion, right? I feel uncomfortable cursing on my channel that much.
You can't be doing this, right? Like, why are we gonna make such a big...
And he turns the flush. Wow, he checked back. Interesting check back.
Does he ever have aces or kings or a set here?
I feel like checking is the right move here when you're so nutted, but he decides to try to get value. You got to give your opponent a chance to bet this. That's my opinion. I mean, you have absolutely nothing to worry about here. Instead, he's going for value. If they have value after the turn at this point, they're probably going to bet, though.
I'm targeting aces and kings. Sometimes ace queen, but that's really, really light. But this is a really interesting spot for him.
So when you have ace king suited on this board with a 3 flush, you know nobody's got the ace of diamonds, you know nobody's got the king of diamonds. So your bet is not getting called by those hands. It makes it less good of a bet, right? In this case right here, if he checks with $5.5 million in the pot, he might be able to get another couple million out of this. I don't know what he does here, but I imagine he's probably folding.
So he
yeah.
didn't have that. Wow.
I had a weird urge just now for
Thank you, Johnny.
buffalo chicken, and I
Me
typically
too.
eat plant-based. That was weird.
Since 1K. That's you're
Buffalo.
really
Why
grinding.
do I want buffalo chicken? I don't know.
Oh.
So, all right, let's go back to our muted double speed. Man, he must curse an insane amount the whole time. If we're hearing this much, although we are picking up like the intense moments too, so I take it back. 13. He's got 14 million. Ace deuce in the small blind. He just jams. It's really hard for anybody to call. Here's Lakers. Let's see. He's got 15. 15 still. 14. And there's 5 players left. Did we miss somebody get knocked out? Yeah, this guy got knocked out. When?
Tricky. Anyone else I jam against? Like, obviously, you don't like how we predict that perfect right now. That flop was just built for action. It's interesting to see if he can go for it.
Let's see.
King Jack off.
When does this player bust? We might as well look at this, right? Like, it's the final table of a bracelet event. Let's see when this player busts. Not there. Wow, he just open jammed for his whole stack. That's kind of crazy. I guess it's because the rest of the players that were in were small. Yeah, that makes sense. All in. Wow, they shipped from the button with 6-8 suited. You just don't need to do that, you know? Like, I get trying to steal, but high card has so much value. Yeah, you jam with 6-8 suited and you get called. You're no matter what, you're behind. It's crazy to play that long in a bracelet event and then decide to jam with a 6-8 suited. Gotta make a move, just doesn't have to be there. It looks like he called a raise from the big blind with Queen Jack suited, and he decides to donk bet it, like bet out into the pot. It's hard for Timo Money to call, but he could easily raise here. And if he raises to this bet, I mean, that's a really I think raising there is probably the best play. But I did get that info from Mike, the poker coach, live poker coaching, which is what is in the chat there. It's a YouTube channel that we're about to build. There's 3 sample videos out for it now. Let's see. So at this point is about an hour left. 15-4. What did we miss? Ace 10. He raises pre. Everybody folds.
Do I stop streaming right now?
My upper back is killing me. Queen 10 suited. Let's see what happens here.
I have to extend the delay, I'll stop the stream. We're gonna flip here.
So he very casually, hold on, I gotta go back and look at that. 801. So let's look at this again. He very casually calls this, right? I mean, it's just so interesting watching him do this. I went back a little bit further than I wanted. So here he is. He's on the...
Do I stop streaming right now?
Wait, no. I apologize for making us watch this again, but this Queen 10 just fascinates me and I want to talk about it real quick. Everybody's going to fold here. So he's got Queen 10 suited on the button. It's not that great of a hand, all right? You have Queen high. It folds around to the small blind really tight. They ship. They go all in for $4 million. He's focused on other stuff, it seems like. They ship for $4 million. And he just kind of like calls. He just kind of calls. And he's like, I have a flip here. He could have been crushed in this hand. Anybody that's got a 10 or a queen in their hand has him 70%. What are you beating when you make that call, right? It's not like the blinds. Yeah, the jam there was for about 14 bigs or so. It's just amazing that he just doubled him up, and it's like it didn't happen. He's not paying attention to it. He just keeps doing that. It's so interesting. Like calling with queen 10 suited there. I think that's a pretty easy fold. All right, let's see. He's got 11.2 now. Let's find out what else he does. Ace-6 suited here. To the raise. Looks like he's going to fold it. Nope. He 3-bets it. Let's see what happens. They're down to 5 players in this bracelet event. And here he goes. He won that one with a 3-bet. It's not terrible 3-bet. And very next hand he gets aces. He raises again. What's happening here? Seems like a lot of people stopped watching. 5 o'clock. That must mean something. He gets jammed on, and instead of going all in, he just smooth calls and gives them a chance to jam the flop, I guess. He bets half pot, and it seems like they're probably going to fold. Yep. Well, wins a good one with aces. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Now he's got 14. He's got ace-6 on the turn, bottom pair. Check to him against a player who tends to fold against him, honestly. He has the least amount of chips there. Five players left in this bracelet event. Pretty crazy. Look at that. Queens hold up. Really tight, who just had 8 million, is down a lot. Now at this point, there's 2 players that it seems like these 3 should coast their way into the next position. Deuces versus king queen. King wins on the river. Now they're down to, oh, never mind. This player has almost nothing left, but they're still in. Ace high, and he just limps there. I think he could have raised there, especially because he's got double the chip stack and just kind of take it down, but I mean, it is good to mix in limping with aces, but then he just lets it go on the suited flop that he has nothing to do with. A lot more play here at this point, meaning when you're down to 5-handed, I mean, you got to play a lot more hands. And he actually seems to be pretty good at short-handed for what it's worth, less than 7 players. His style of playing these types of hands does work pretty well for short-handed. He's got a 9-8 suited. 5-handed, I'm going to be honest, is not a good hand. I used to have a big problem playing that too much, but he is against somebody that's just kind of super small chip stack, so they were in for the big blind. Yeah, I feel like he didn't need to play there. Someone else might have had a better hand to go against them, but it's all good. So here he's got ace-8 suited. That's his money hand, but everybody folds to him. I say that's his money hand from the hand before. And what do we got next? Oh, whoops. I might have just messed this up a little. Let's see. There we go. What was I trying to do? I was trying to do this. So let's fast forward this a little. Now that we're down to 5-handed, the final table of this event, I did cover this whole thing start to finish. So if you want my opinions on the way he played these hands all the way through, feel free to watch this video after it's done. I will leave this one up. And here he's got Ace Jack. It's pretty standard 2x raise from the cutoff. And yeah, I mean, he's basically just got to wait for somebody to get knocked out. And if he's got a hand to knock him out with, just go for it. They figured, I got a king, I got to go for it. Really tight said, not if I can help it, but not a lot you can do there. Now, I want to be clear here. They called with the queen high against this all in, but it was for way, way less chips. It was for like 2 to 3 bigs. It's a much different situation than calling queen 10 before. So here he has queen 10 suited, and he raises from the small blind. Still sort of on the small side. He should be raising a little bit more, but it did get through. Let's see. It stayed 5-handed for a pretty long time, right? Ace 7 offsuit, probably a pretty good open 5-handed, and he does do that from the cutoff, and then he gets raised, and he's so unhappy about it. It's okay, man, just fold. Like, you know what to do. You don't have to be so upset. He got so upset because he got 3-bet. It's like, that's a part of it. But that's also why he's fun to watch. Like, he'll be more fun to watch than me. If somebody 3-bets me and I had Ace 7, I fold. I don't freak out. Like, it's way more fun to watch somebody that's emotional. Let's see. Yeah, at this point in the tournament, they should really just be Rampage, Lakers, GTG, and Timo Money should really just be trying to get these last 2 players out that have really small chip stacks. I mean, they're about 4 bigs and about 8 bigs. And yeah, he might as well pick up some chips in the meantime. Here he's got pocket deuces. I don't hate raising here. You can also totally let this go. Now he's getting called by T-Money, and he gets bet into. I tend to think that raising here is a good play. It puts a lot of pressure on, but folding is also fine. As Mike says, when somebody tries to find out how where they're at, you tell them where they're at, right? Which means raise. He's getting tips in all these crazy currencies like SEK. I don't know what that means. Looks like he just called with the 5-6 for the very small all-in. There's nothing wrong with that. Trying to knock a player out, and then they won, and he really wanted them knocked out. Let's see. Oh, here he goes. They're on the big blind. He's got ace queen. See, I think a min raise here is so much better. A min raise here makes it so that they feel like they can shove, right? But he did not do that. And now they go all in, basically saying, if you want to call. It's like, even with aces, it's really difficult for really tight to call there, just because Sham is going to very often be forced all in before really tight, and going up the ladder there, what is it worth? Between 5th and 4th, it's like, I can't see exactly what it says, but it looks like, well, actually, we'll do this real quick. It is, 5th place is 41,000. It's 14,000. 14,000 is the pay jump. So, oh, I guess I missed it, but it looks like now really tight is in the tough spot. And Sham won a hand. Wow, they went all in. Really tight's gotta fold here. I mean, you get the ladder. Lakers calls with jacks, and the king comes. Wow. Well, Sham did what they had to. Now really tight's got to go all in on this hand against the 5-7. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, see, T-Money call. Oh my God, Sham going all in is crazy that you would do that. You isolate so that your head's up. Really not smart. Oh well. And now really tight still in it after all that. And now he ships, and Lakers is going to have a tough time calling here. I don't mind that play because you're worried about their chip stack in that case, and you're getting it in and making them have a decision. This is interesting. Big stack. The other big stack is on the big blind. King Jack suit is a pretty good hand. Flopping a gutter and a flush draw here. Let's see how he plays it. He has a tendency to check in these spots. All right, I'm glad he bet. I feel like take advantage of your equity and take it down, right? Shoves. So this is a wow, interesting. That's a really interesting call by Sham with the King Jack offsuit. It's a really tough call there because there's a player that's really short, and it's 14,000 if they get knocked out first, and so you put yourself at risk with the King Jack there, and there's a lot of hands that you're behind. I do think that's a loose call, but for whatever reason, Sham decided to make it and keep going. Really tight and Lakers must have been like, oh my God, lose. So here it's ace 10. It's a pretty standard raise there. Timo Money folds. I feel like Timo Money might be feeling tilted right here. Like they just didn't need to do that with the Jack high. Ace Jack, pretty standard. Rampage is like he's getting pretty standard spots. Queen Jack offsuit with the two, or with the big blind being the weak hand. I mean, you can do that. You can make that raise. Gets called, flops, bottom pair. Oh, actually, I want to slow this one down because let's see. Look at what happens here. So, under the gun, raises to 900 something thousand, gets called by the big blind really tight. Flop comes, bottom pair, the backdoor straight, and he gets it in against a flop straight. He hits the flush, turn and river.
What a flop.
He doesn't really have much to say about it. Like, it's like, it's not like, wow, what a suck out. But at the same time, he did get his money in thinking that he might have had the best hand. And it's not like he got trapped there, right? Gets a walk with jacks right after that. I just think that, he leveled up and made 14,000. He's not like, all right, another 14,000. He's just like, la-di-da. Super interesting. So here, they're down to 4. He decides to just open ship with an ace or ace 10 off. I mean, I think it's a great play because Lakers is the only one that could really call because Lakers is so far behind compared to these other two chip stacks. Now he's got ace 10 in the big. Nobody wants to deal with him because they know he calls just about everything. That's the advantage to calling looser. Now there's a whole bunch of raise, shove, fold. How much time we got left in this? It's like 20-ish minutes of real time. So we'll be done in about 15. Lakers is all in here. And he gets called by the better hand, but he turns the straight. Talk about getting lucky to get second place. And now Sham is the short stack. It just keeps going back and forth and back and forth. Meanwhile, Ethan Rampage is just like crushing it in chips. He's got a huge chip lead here. And here we've got Jack 9. He ships because it's really hard to call with a smaller chip stack behind. Totally makes sense. And look at this. Now he's got aces.
No 8.
And she shipped on him too. So it's like all she had to do was just call with aces. Or all he had to do was call with aces. Well, there you go. And now 27 million in chips. And second place is 5 million. It's crazy. Now it's Lakers' turn. Lakers know he's got to make a move soon. Goes all in.
Can you call this 3 ways?
I think you can call with an ace here, honestly.
It's like, what are you jamming there? I feel like sevens, fives. Give me a suck out. Give me a suck out.
Even though he was only 30% to win, I think calling there is fine. Three-handed is very different.
And we gave him a lot of
and
chips.
Timo Money is just like,
Nice.
But now they're the short stack, so they kind of got to be the one to make it happen. So they're all in here.
Ace, queen,
They get
nines.
called.
It's an ace.
Nines, nothing wrong with that. Ace queen. I mean, nines versus ace queen three-handed is pretty unlikely. So
And there were two. This
now,
is gonna be,
just like that, he's heads up. And what's the dollar amount on this?
$100,000.
First place is 100,000, 101,000. First place is 164,000. Second place is 101. So he's locked up
Stack two? No, I'm not.
at this point. Now,
He was
I want to just point out,
seats. I want that one.
Rampage has 23 million. Lakers has 14 million. The blinds are 200,000, 400,000. Okay, so 4 million in this case is 10 bigs. All right, so that means that this is about 30 something bigs, and he has. Let me do the math with you. Like almost 50 bigs, something like that. I might be wrong with that, but I want to point that out, how deep they are. They're pretty deep heads up here. They could afford to play a little bit. He's got a queen nine suited here. I'm saying that for a reason. He gets min raised. It's probably a call here. Yep. Flops middle pair. See what he does. He checks. He's not going anywhere to a bet here, though. Heads up. Heck no. This is for the bracelet, too. Super interesting. 800,000, so about half pot. You could either raise or call here. I like calling a little bit better. When the ace turns, it's a little bit tough, and he's hitting the table. He checks. Probably getting checked behind. Maybe not. I do think if he faces another bet, he's got to call again. But I don't know that I'm right. Maybe you just let it go. he like no pain. Like, did you see the way he called there? It was like like a super awkward call. He checks, and let's see what he was against.
Fuck.
He wanted them to bet.
Fuck.
He could have been behind.
He had 3-5 offsuit.
Oh, he looked back at it.
He had 3-5 offsuit, so.
So now heads up, he's making a min raise with ace jack,
Made
pretty
right check
standard. And he flops the open ender with the over. It's a pretty good flop for him. Heads up. And he's almost definitely going to bet this and get folded too. And I don't know if it's the next hand or the hand right after that, but he's about to win this thing, and the hand that he wins it on is just so interesting. He's so casual about it with the way that he makes the call on that other hand, and super interesting is what I'll say. He's got the 9-3 off. Obviously, this is not the hand. And now he's got the jack 8 suited. Makes the raise. But not a good flop for that hand. He's playing heads up for a bracelet. He's got a 2.5 to 1 chip advantage. I mean, boy, would that feel good to be in that spot. Check to him. Probably take the pot down if you bet here. But he checked. Seemed like it went check, check, check. He's looking to actually make hands heads up. It's kind of hard to do that all the time. And look, he decided not to bet any of it, and he loses just to a pair of fives. And he's saying that's my fault. I mean, it is, but you won, so who cares? In the moment, you didn't know that. Now you got yourself a king jack. I think I'm gonna fast forward this a little. So it gets limped, and then he makes a raise with the king jack, and he gets folded too. And now they're on break. Oh wow, I didn't realize there was a break in the middle of this.
Wish us some motherfucking luck.
You don't need luck, man. You got such a huge chip lead.
I love people like, take a break. It's fine.
So, I believe it's the next hand. I saw pocket fours. Let's see here. So interesting the way that this goes down. I do want to point out. Oh, it's not. I do want to point out. Look, 10 million at 200,000, 400,000. He's at about 25 bigs. All right. Queen 6 off. I feel like he's gonna fold this. Yeah. All right, here we go. He's got pocket fours. He makes a min raise, or maybe a little bit more than a min raise. He goes to 1.2. So the question is, what do you do if somebody shoves against you who has not shoved preflop once? What do you do here? Right? With pocket fours, your absolute best case scenario is you're coin flipping, unless you're getting shoved against threes or deuces, which you're probably not. So with pocket fours in this spot, if you're getting shoved, and it's not for a little bit, it's for a total of about 11 million and change. With pocket fours, you're hoping to coin flip is my point. In any higher pocket pair, you're getting crushed by. And watch the way that this goes down. I think this is just fascinating. It's one of the most interesting hands I've ever seen. I wonder what he'd say about it later. Like, you don't need to call with pocket fours is my point, in case you didn't catch that. If somebody shoves on you. So here Lakers is tanking a bit. And he's sweating, and he's sweating.
Thanks for everyone watching it now. You guys are cool.
He has about 4,000 people watching him live. You guys might be some of them, I don't know. He tanks and shoves, and he just calls. That's all he does. He just calls. I call. Like...
Let's go!
That was too loud. He won it just like kind of calling with fours. I love it. For 10 million, just about, or for a little over 10 million, he just called off 10 million with fours. If he loses that hand, Lakers has about a 2-1 chip advantage on him. He didn't need to give up the chip lead. He didn't need to be in a spot like that where he's coin flipping at best. But he did it, and he won, and I'm super happy for him. He's a bracelet winner, and that's really, really cool. He just kind of can't believe it. Like, all the stress is over, and he's got 164,000 in the bank now. Well, it's got to be transferred out of WSOP.com, but yeah.
Now, how do I tell my mother that I am not at Cape Cod, but I actually drove down to New Jersey during Corona? She was very much against it.
How do I tell my mother? That's what he's thinking about when he won. I'm going to have to tell my mom about this. How do I tell my mother that I'm not down the Cape in Massachusetts, but I actually went to New Jersey to play this event, and she didn't want me to? She was very much against it. Well, you tell her you won, and you tell her, hey, you were wrong, Mom. I won 164,000. Thanks for the support, though. It's like...
I'm waiting. It's a 5-minute delay. I'm waiting for the chat.
Oh yeah, so he doesn't get to see everybody.
How the fuck did we get here?
He did it. He won. Congratulations, Rampage. Congratulations,
How
Ethan.
the fuck?
Stop cursing, man. Why you gotta do that?
Here?
You're
Look
making
at
me uncomfortable.
this. Oh, I didn't show it. Oh my god, how the fuck
There he
did
goes.
we get here?
Alright, we can mute him for a little bit. Pretty cool, right? You finished first out of 1677 players, but there were a lot of re-entries, so it was more like 2,200 entries into the tournament. And there you go. So that is what happened. And that's my take on it. And we can see that there were a couple of times there that he got himself in. Not so good. But nonetheless, that was really cool that he won. And I'm so happy to help support a fellow YouTuber. And, you know, he seems like an awesome guy, right? Like, we can all see that he's a really cool guy. And, yeah. Thank you guys for watching me talk through these hands, by the way. You know, is there anything, before I go, is there anything else that you guys would want right here? I've been live streaming a lot right now, so I'm feeling it a little bit, but I'm cool. Like, I can keep going if there's something that you guys wanted. Did we like that? I mean, it seems like we got a lot of people watching. I do have on Monday, I'm going over PLO. That is a free live lesson Monday at 12 o'clock. I go over PLO. I talk about how to calculate the pot. Yeah, and I do want to give Rampage, Ethan, who we were just watching, I want to give him a little bit of credit too for making the money the day after in the very next bracelet event. And the way that he went out, he had somebody go all in front of him, somebody else go all in front of him, and he had pocket kings. And he had about 200 something thousand. He ended up calling with pocket kings and losing to ace king. And that left him crippled. He had like 40,000 after that. I think he was a low chip stack at his table. He could have been right back into this type of situation with about 200 players left the very next day. He did live stream that one too. So, you know, many props to him for making such a deep run. You know, you got players like Daniel Negreanu playing these tournaments too, and a lot of other pros trying to get a bracelet, and he did it. So congratulations again to him. Well, anyway, love you guys. Thank you for being on the channel with me here and listening to me pretend like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to playing poker. Take it easy. I'm going to jump off.